Let's get it on!
Hey everybody, welcome to the milestone episode 10 of Off the Ropes with John and Josh. I, of course, am Josh.
I'm John McClane, yippee-ki-yay motherfucker.
Speaking of John McClane, don't forget to check out the upcoming movie, A Good Day to Die Hard, coming out February 14th. Yeah.
Good Day to Die Hard, Valentine's Day?
Yeah. You know, guys gotta have something to go to on Valentine's Day, too. What you got there?
Breakfast on a stick.
Did you just say that you break-danced on your dick?
I said breakfast on a stick. And you know, since we're addressing matters, how many days are you going to wear this shirt in a row?
What are you talking about?
Well, I happen to notice that this is the 4th installment of the Attitude Era, and you are still wearing your Impact shirt.
Well, I figured same topic, same shirt. I figured it would go well.
Okay.
And I see that you decided that you had to copy me and you're going to wear another shirt. And then, of course, his shirt looks better than mine because he never wears a shirt. And I always
This is
wear
the
my shirt.
3rd time I've wore this shirt. Millionth time, 3rd time. Old and busted, new hotness. Available at tnashop.com.
Also
Okay.
available in black.
So today, we're going to open the episode with Breaking Kayfabe.
Breaking kayfabe!
And today on Breaking Kayfabe, the topics at hand. Dish soap, a cucumber, petroleum jelly, and pixie sticks. I'm sorry, that's my shopping list.
What do you need petroleum jelly and a cucumber for?
Oh, I thought I'd make finger sandwiches and then finger fuck your mom.
On to breaking kayfabe.
WWE released Trent Beretta.
Now this is...
Where's Trent? On his way home.
Where's Trent? Definitely on his way home. Unfortunately, I really like this guy.
Well, he knew he was being released though, because when he started to figure things out, he started traveling alone.
Yeah.
And apparently he was on his way to a show when they texted him, and he just turned the car around.
You know, and it's sad. Because this kid had a lot of potential. I could have seen him being like the next Jeff Hardy, you know, without all the, drug problems.
Well, Tyson Kidd's out for 6 to 8 months.
Yeah, he tore his ACL and he fractured his knee. That's a rough break for him, you know. Especially since
That's a rough break.
Yeah, it's definitely a rough break. No pun intended. Didn't he just recently win an award?
Yeah, actually, as a matter of fact, in the independent awards circuit, where they're not mainstream WWE or TV, and they release DVDs or awards, he just won Breakout Superstar of the Year.
Yeah, I think, I think once he's healed up, I think we'll see a lot of good stuff from him. I definitely do.
On that same note, Edge was inducted into the National Hall of Fame.
Very cool, very cool. Very much deserved, I have to say.
Oh, I would agree. TNA reduces their pay-per-view status to 4 pay-per-views a year, which Josh and I were talking about pre-show. Mm-hmm. We think WWE should do this. Well, maybe not 4, but definitely cut it down a little bit.
I think WWE could get away with 8 pay-per-views a year. I mean, we're already saturated. We have Monday Night Raw. We have Main Event on Wednesdays. We have Smackdown on Fridays. Saturday morning Slam. You know.
Don't forget, there's
Superstars,
Yep.
which I think is online on Thursdays. I already said Main Event. And there's also NXT, which is on Tuesdays online, I believe. So we're kind of saturated with WWE television. I think that they could easily go down to 8 pay-per-views, keep the main 4, and then one in between each to kind of further their storyline.
We were talking about them getting rid of the Money in the Bank pay-per-view and the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. Money in the Bank should go back to being a staple at WrestleMania, because let's face it, that is the grandest stage of them all for all of sports entertainment. Blow me away again. Let me see one match. Well, you know what? Do 2 Money in the Bank matches at Mania. Come on! It's Mania! Let them... Wow.
Let them shine.
Yeah, let them have their moment. You're bringing back Shelton Benjamin most likely anyway. Get Tyson Kidd off his injury, put both of them in one match, and I guarantee you're going to have another Jeff Hardy at WrestleMania 23 moment.
It'll be awesome. Also, I mean, as far as Elimination Chamber goes, I mean, when you think of the winner of an Elimination Chamber, what are they but a survivor? Why not put it as Survivor Series? Winning that match is the ultimate survival. I'm just saying.
Well, it's really funny that you mentioned survival. Because the newest member to Ace and Eights is a member of, well, the Fuck the World Nation. He is the Survive If I Let You man himself, Taz.
Absolutely. This brings the total of known numbers up to 5 right now. We have Devon, Doc, formerly known as Luke Gallows, also Festus.
Yeah, for those of you who really remember.
Or the fake Kane, if you remember that from not too long ago. Ding! And we also recently acquired Mike Knox in Aces.
Yes, and Mr. Anderson!
So I think it's interesting where they're going with this Ace and Eights thing. Yeah.
Something I thought that was interesting in mentioning today that Josh wasn't aware of. Steven Richards has an illustrious 20-some year career. And just recently in Extreme Rising took his first heavyweight title. Congratulations goes out to Steven Richards.
Absolutely. Congratulations, and hopefully you won't make the mistake of forming another Blue World Order. Or Job Squad. Just saying. Don't do it. Fuck that bitch!
Alright, and today, on to installment number 4.
Just like the Horseman.
Of the Attitude Era.
That's right. We're going to start off today talking about the birth.
Whoa, if you say of that goddamn hand that Mae Young had, I don't want to hear it.
Of Smackdown.
Well, since Rock's baby left him, he had to find a new place to dwell. Well, it's down at the end of Jabroni Drive at Smackdown Hotel.
That's right. You never thought you'd get a little singing act in this show. But guess what? Last 2 weeks, boom, singing.
Thinking about making a
career out of it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I'll give it a shot.
Maybe we'll make a music video for these people. Or not. We won't make you suffer. That's okay. We like you too.
Well, for those of you who don't know, SmackDown debuted on April 29th, 1999 on the UPN network.
Which later merged with the WB to become what is now the CW.
Yep. Original commentators for the show were Michael Cole and Jim Cornette.
Now, Michael Cole commentated SmackDown for the entirety, pretty much the entirety of the Attitude Era, and a little bit past that, except for 2 episodes that he did not commentate. One was the network's premiere on August 26th of 1999. This is when it officially made its way to television, onto UPN, because it was, they started the show, but it wasn't really televised before that. And then the other one was the 9/11 tribute, which was done, Jim Ross, Paul Heyman. It was interesting. Which we'll actually talk a little bit about that show in a little bit. Now, throughout the Attitude Era, Cole had several different partners, which include Jim Cornette,
Jerry the King Lawler,
Michael Hayes,
Taz,
Jim Ross,
and Paul Heyman.
He had all these different people, yet he stuck around. And you want to know something? He's still here.
Well, it's really funny, because Sunday Night Heat did the same thing. Multiple freaking commentators. It was so long that I didn't even really care.
Yeah, that's okay.
But originally, it aired at Thursdays at 8, and it was the battle of the WCW Thunder time slot.
Until Thunder decided, well, we can't compete with SmackDown, so we're going to move to Wednesdays. Yeah, because they were losers.
Is that why WCW won the battle for the most part?
They may have won the battle, but WWE won the war. Just saying. And that is a pun. Just saying.
Fair enough.
No.
The early set was pretty cool. It featured a Titantron, and it had like this.
It was an oval-shaped Titantron.
A lot of people call it the Ovaltron.
They did this to set themselves apart from the Raw set, which was the normal rectangular, Tron that you see.
Wasn't really cool.
Most of the time, and The Rock would routinely call SmackDown his show.
Well, he did coin the phrase "layeth thy SmackDown." I mean,
exactly, which is where obviously SmackDown got its name from. So he would definitely he kind of took charge, and this is my show, and things are going to happen my way. It was definitely interesting.
It's really funny that The Rock is the one who pioneered most of the Attitude Era. He leaves, he comes back, fails his drug test, still gets to compete at the Rumble. Just
Who says it was a drug test? Just because you failed the wellness policy doesn't mean it has anything to do with drugs.
Just saying.
Maybe he had a heart palpitation.
Have you not seen him lately, Mr. Joe?
Hey, maybe he had a heart palpitation. Just saying.
Joe. Maybe he's giving a shout out to Samoa Joe. I wonder if they're family. Because I recently found out Roman Reigns is related to The Rock.
Is he?
Yep, they're cousins.
That's interesting. Rock has quite a few family
Oh
members.
my God! If you had every member of The Rock's family in that ring at one time, we could have a Rock family Royal Rumble.
We could probably do an entire show just about his family. I'm just saying, there's a lot there. Now,
do we include the fire hose? That's like its own family member right there.
That's very true.
Get it? It's a family member.
Now, in 2001, during the invasion angle, Chris Jericho was... Well...
Am I thinking what you're thinking?
Yeah, this was not by choice. He was gored.
Gore!
By none other than Rhino through the set. Now,
this was not by choice?
Haha, no. He did not want this to happen. Would you want this to happen?
Hells yeah, Rhino can gore me anytime he wants.
He got blasted through the set, shattered everywhere, and this caused them to have to replace the set. Which many of you will probably remember the big fist and the shattered glass panes in the front. Which I actually enjoyed.
Yeah, no, that was a really cool set for the longest that remained.
And they kept that around for quite a while, actually. Now, after the invasion, the brands were split, and half of the roster was sent over to SmackDown.
Yep.
And this lasted until like 2011, until they remerged and started doing these super shows.
Well, the show was originally planned to be 2 hours, and it was primarily going to be a
Divas show.
Oh, sorry,
It was going to be 2 hours of WWF Divas in primetime television.
How hot would that be?
Right?
2 hours to get to see the Divas do their thing.
Now, however, this did not quite work out the way they planned, so it just kind of became a complimentary show to Raw.
Well, let's face it, once the brand split happened and you locked partial here and you locked partial there, that's why so many problems arose with the championships that we talked about a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we ended up having to have the world title brought in, because Brock Lesnar refused to defend on Raw. Fucking douche.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's cool. SmackDown is a good show.
Mm-hmm. And then in 2001, SmackDown aired 2 special episodes. One was SmackDown Extreme, which was their very first live show. And then there was the 9/11 tribute show. Now, the 9/11 tribute show happened obviously due to the terrorist attacks that happened on 9/11. Because of this, they canceled the event that was supposed to happen that day. Obviously, out of respect and everything, you know, people can go home and do whatever they needed to do. So, but then 2 days later, on the 13th, they held a special live SmackDown from Houston. And it was the first major televised event since the attacks had happened. You know, people just they didn't want to do anything those first few days,
Out of
obviously.
respect.
You know, so this was the first major live television event that took place, and there were thousands of people in attendance. You know,
I remember this. The ropes ended up being red, white, and blue, out of respect for the nation, and the American flag was at mid-staff.
and they had the flag on the little mini trons that were along the sides there, and they did this for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it was pretty cool.
It wasn't bad. It was. I mean, the tribute episode. I mean, it wasn't. The nation's in mourn. I mean, what the hell are you gonna do?
You got to show support. You show support, the people will come. And that's just the way it is.
Is that like if you build it, they will come?
Kind of.
So I should build a strip club, is what you're saying. I support our local single mothers.
Now, some notable SmackDown moments that I discovered in my research.
Ooh. Remember that time that thing happened with that guy?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And here it is. On September 14th of 1999, WWF officials went on strike. Now, because of this, Shane McMahon would serve as a special guest referee for a match between his father, Vince, and Triple H. Austin would come out, stun Triple H, and allow Vince to win the WWE title. The only time that it changed hand on SmackDown during the entire Attitude Era.
Stun the boss's son-in-law.
Yeah. I mean, just think about that. Austin comes out, you think he's going to stun McMahon? Nope. Yeah, you got to think about that a little, don't you?
I do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I wish I could have seen that.
Now, a couple months later, in November 11th, 1999, Big Boss Man interrupted the funeral of Big Show's father and dragged the coffin off while the Big Show clung to it. Just dragged it through the cemetery.
In all honesty, that is one of the few times I ever think a storyline just went a little too far.
I agree.
Now, it wasn't the passing of his real father, obviously, but it was just, or was it the real father?
I know, it was,
No,
yeah.
it was
This
his
was
real life
the
father,
passing of his real father.
And
they decided to use it in a storyline.
I mean, I get it that, you know, Big Show was like, cool, let's do it. But in all honesty, sometimes just, some storylines go a little too far.
And I feel like during the Attitude Era, they did a lot of that. They really tried to push those lines, see where they could go, see what people would handle, what they could handle, what they could accept.
Yep.
And yeah, they definitely pushed those boundaries.
Well, on March 3rd of 2000, Stephanie would go on to become the new women's champion.
Whoopity woo! But this was part of that whole McMahon Helmsley era.
That's true.
Triple H was the champ. She was a champ. You know, they were trying to run the show together. You know, trying to just take over the company.
Yeah.
And then the following year, not the month, April 19th, 2001, one of his favorite superstars, Jeff Hardy, wins his very first Intercontinental Championship. You know, it's a good start for him. It really was. Kind of paved the way, especially during this time frame.
Yep.
Hardys were really big at this time. So
actually, during 01 was when they started to split.
But I just mean in general, the Hardys, they were big at this time. You had SummerSlam 2000 the year before, with the first TLC, triple tag TLC match. You know, you had a lot of good stuff. The following WrestleMania, had a lot of good stuff going on.
Well, on December 13th, 2001, WWE, Smackdown television, essentially, got to see something that they hadn't actually ever really got to see before. They got to see a really funny segment between Booker T and Stone Cold Steve Austin. And where did this take place? None other than a grocery store.
Yes, this was definitely memorable. I mean, I remember us sitting in front of the computer just watching this over and over again.
I still watch it to this day. Check out the link here. It's really funny.
It is really funny. Price check on Jackass! Yes.
Oh.
Highly recommend it. Hope you can check that out.
Well, if you put the link down there, you can check it out.
I will put the link down there.
And
hopefully it will have already been there.
And then luckily...
And if it's not there, it'll definitely be in the notes. If you miss it, if it goes by too quickly throughout the video, it'll be in the notes underneath the video. Please check it out.
Yes. And as long as we don't actually put a lot of video clips from the WWE in here, our videos will get pulled. So on to a little bit of a hot under the collar topic, if you know what I'm talking about. Divas and Playboy.
Absolutely. Now, Divas and Playboy came about because of one particular controversial diva, Sable. She always flaunted what she got, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. In 1999, she became the first diva to pose in Playboy. And since 1999, 7 WWE divas have appeared on the cover of Playboy. Let's see. We have Ashley Massaro. And hers was in 2007.
Sorry, I didn't have this.
We have Christy Hemme, who was in 2005. We have, this is the Tori and Sable edition from 2004.
With bonus pictures of every Divas Playboy spread.
We have Maria Canales, for those of you who don't know her last name, from 2008. She was the final diva to be on the cover. And here we have Candice Michelle, who was in 2006. Now, the only ones that we don't have here are the first 3 that came out, which was Sable in 1999,
Chyna
in 2000, and Tori Wilson in 2003. Now, it kind of became a tradition for any diva that had posed in Playboy, or at least who was a WWE diva at the time, and posed in Playboy, to have a Playboy match at WrestleMania.
Which could be nice. It started with WrestleMania 20, and it was Tori and Sable versus Stacy and Miss Jackie in a Playboy tag team match. Mm-hmm. Now, this was an interesting concept. It was the first time ever being done.
It definitely split the divas.
It did.
They had the Playboy divas and the non-Playboy divas, and usually the non-Playboy divas were the heels.
Yes.
And they just did not like the fact that they were getting all this attention.
Well, it would also happen at WrestleMania 22, which would see Tori, again, taking on Candice Michelle in a Playboy pillow fight.
Mm-hmm. Both Playboy, bunnies at the time, so it was definitely
It was okay.
Definitely a good one.
My favorite is still Maria and Ashley to this day. Both of them are pretty hot women.
Mm-hmm. I absolutely agree.
Ashley Massaro, you need to call me. I've posted my number on these things like 5 times.
Now, this tradition was discontinued after WWE made its move into TV PG in 2008. Unfortunately, thanks again, Linda McMahon.
Yeah, because we totally could have like got to see like Kelly in Playboy.
Oh, she would have totally done Playboy, like hardcore.
Man.
Now, for those of you who don't know, there have been a couple other former WWE divas who have posed in Playboy before they were divas.
Now, one of them is a current TNA knockout. Her real name is Taryn Tyrell. If you watch WWE programming, you might remember her as the ECW general manager, Tiffany.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other was none other than the what I'm going to call the French-Canadian socialite.
I like that. Maurice Ouellette.
Yes.
Is that how you pronounce that?
I think so. I don't know.
It's either Ouellette, Outlet. Either way, I'd like to put something in her.
Absolutely. No, these aren't the only former WWE stars to pose for other magazines.
That's very true.
There's also been
Mickey James and Like Show.
And Gail Kim. I don't know what she did something topless.
She just likes to throw her titties out there.
But who recently got married to
I heard about that.
celebrity chef Robert Irvine from Restaurant Impossible. Love that
Go
show.
her.
Check it out.
I hope that really didn't upset too many people that we brought up the whole Divas and Playboy, because we would not want the Parents Television Council coming down on us. And speaking of the Parents Television Council, or the PTC as I'm going to refer to it, they came crashing down on the WWE in 1999, specifically on Smackdown. Now see, what happened is they would launch a campaign saying that WWE at the time, WWF Smackdown was just a little too hostile and sexy. Now, I don't really get it, because at the time, SmackDown wasn't the racy show. Raw was. Raw was where you were going to have, like, Mankind choking a chicken, or Kane setting things on fire.
I believe it was probably just easier for them to target SmackDown than it was Raw, especially since it was fairly new.
They would do their best, and, I mean, with all the, with everything that they were setting up, they started getting, like, commercial people, like Subway and all that, to pull out their advertising, and therefore WWE was having no commercials. So they had to really pull and figure out what they were going to do.
Because without commercials, the network's not going to keep you around.
Exactly. So then in November 9th of 2000, PTC filed a complete lawsuit against the WWF saying that 4 kids died practicing and playing wrestling in their house. Now I raised the question of, where the hell were their parents?
Absolutely.
Now, I've wrestled him in the backyard hundreds of times. Never has he died.
That's true. Now, when I was a kid, I used to roughhouse, but my parents were always there to stop it if it got a little out of hand. Where were these parents be like, hey, don't do that. That's stupid.
Right?
Don't be an idiot. You're gonna break your freaking neck and you're gonna die. Don't do it.
If your kid picks up a frying pan or a chair and goes to hit your other kid, maybe your parenting sucks.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Recipients.
Yeah. We're talking to you.
But however, WWF would come out of it on top with a $3.5 million settlement, stating that they would cut some stuff back and they would change a couple things.
Now, explain to these fine people how WWE pulled off winning a $3.5 million settlement when they themselves were getting sued.
The PTC started rolling commercials saying, don't watch WWE advertisement, you could get hurt. And started showing clips of this and that, and the don't try this at home type stuff. Vince McMahon walked into the courtroom with a bunch of lawyers and went, they're using my footage without my permission. Oops! Somebody forgot to cross their T's and dot their I's.
Yes,
and Vince McMahon ended up doing a couple different things. He started rolling the do not try this at home segments, and formed a group of people who became known as Rights to Censor.
That's right.
Now, Rights to Censor formed in mid-2000 and went to early 01. So I'm going to say they probably got a good 7-8 month run in there. Now there's an impressive thing with Rights to Censor. They would lose matches on Raw and SmackDown, and they'd get their asses kicked and made to look a fool. However, though, when Rights to Censor would go on to pay-per-view moments, they did not lose.
That's very, very interesting. Now, Race to Censor was obviously a parody of the PTC, RTC, PTC.
Yep.
It was Vince McMahon's way of kind of sticking it to him. You know, it's like, I just took you for $3.5 million, now I'm going to stick it to you a little bit. So deal with it, you know? They would come out wearing their white shirts, you know, and their black slacks, and their black ties, and coming out all nice and fancy and all that jazz.
Now, originally, Ivory would come out wearing black skirts.
Yeah.
But due to Ivory being a member of the Rights to Censor and being a women's wrestler all at the same time, she found wrestling in slacks would make it a little bit easier, and therefore joined the look.
All right.
Now, the group consisted of...
And I feel like it probably made it less sexy.
True.
To kind of fit with the gimmick.
Well, let's
too,
face it,
a little bit.
Ivory wasn't the most sexy of women anyway. She was good looking. She
But
had...
you know what? You can take an Uggo, slap her in a skirt, and if you do the right tricks, you could probably make her look decent. I'm just saying.
I don't think we should talk about women doing tricks on the show. We might offend somebody.
Hey man, I'm just saying, you've done plenty of Uggos in your time. I mean, you must be attracted somehow. I'm just putting that up.
Hi, Amber!
Alright. Now this group was led by Steven Richards, who we just recently talked about winning his first heavyweight title. It also consisted of Bull Buchanan, who just recently celebrated his 45th birthday. Happy birthday, Bull Buchanan.
The Good Father.
You know, formerly known as the Godfather, obviously, which we talked a little bit about last week.
Val
Also,
Venus?
Val Venus, who we talked a little bit about
Yep.
last week, and Ivory, which we just mentioned.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did.
No, we didn't. When? When did we even
You
mention her?
just mentioned her. Well, the whole Uggos thing.
Hi, Amber. Well, notable feuds with Rights to Censor would comes in the form of people like the Acolytes Protection Agency, the Dudleys, Too Cool, Edge and Christian.
Too cool. Who are they?
You know, the...
No. Disco Inferno?
No, that was this one.
Oh. No.
No? So apparently
Wait,
it's...
are you talking about Lawler's son?
Yeah.
Ah.
Lawler's son, that big fat guy who's related to The Rock, and the other one who couldn't dance.
Oh.
But he did the worm one.
Wormy Man, as I like to call him.
W-O-R-M! Whoosh, 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 whoosh. That's right, Sky Buddy. You can suck my
Nuts.
nuts. Look at my nuts.
Planters.
Look at my nuts. Look at my nuts. Look at my nuts. Look at my nuts. I'm good.
You really shouldn't keep your planters in your pants.
Well, it's really funny because it started with Steven Richards pulling a table out of the ring on the Dudleys. And it ended pretty much right after WrestleMania 17 when they all lost their respectable matches. And then the next night they would appear on Smackdown and it would be a triple threat handicap match. It would be Val Venus, The Good Father, and Richards taking on Brothers of Destruction. And Brothers of Destruction would totally devastate Steven Richards and leave him lay there as everybody else just kind of walked away going, it was good while it lasted. And that
Seems like everything that Steven Richards does is like that.
Ouch. Ouch. Yeah, if he walks through that door and Stevie kicks you, I'm ducking.
If he comes walking through this door and Stevie kicks me, I'll let it happen, because that means that Steven Richards was on our show.
But that's okay, I'd super kick him. Well, after Rights to Censor would break up, they would all go back to pretty much doing their own gimmicks and doing their own thing. Really, none of them really got any much more hype. Val Venus would become a little bit big as he got his Sean Morley push.
He ended up in TNA for a little while.
Where?
You know, so, I mean...
Doing what?
Yeah, exactly.
Doing who? More like it.
Now, our next topic is a big man in the industry, still around, though he's been gone for a little while.
Yokozuna?
No, he's dead.
But you said he's gone, but he's still around.
Wait, like a ghost?
So,
Do you see Yokozuna's ghost?
Sometimes in my sleep, I think about that ash just coming crashing down on me. Bonsai dropping me, and I got a freak, and I wake up and I'm like, oh my god! And then Amber's laying next to me sometimes.
Ah, hi Amber. No,
So,
we are talking about none other...
Talking about Viscera.
No, but we do mention him at some point.
Really?
during this.
Do we?
Yep. Mhm.
Awesome.
None other than Mark Henry.
The world's strongest man?
The Mizark. Mark Henry, that is correct. Yes, he wants to show off his new
No, I'm
tattoo
peeling.
today.
I'm itchy. Okay?
He's
And
peeling
yes,
and itchy.
new tattoo. Wolverine.
Snick Bub.
Snick.
That's his berserker
Well,
attack.
did you know that Mark Henry debuted on March 11th, 1996? on Raw.
Absolutely. He came out and he press slammed Jerry Lawler in the ring. And this was because Lawler had been ridiculing Mark Henry.
Is it kind of funny that he would get press slammed in the ring and then later on press slammed in the courtrooms by his ex-wives? Up top!
Now, after he competed in the '96 Summer Olympics, WWF at the time signed him to an unfounded 10-year contract. This is not something that was normal.
No,
they did not say this.
His contract didn't come up until 2006.
Yeah.
And then they re-signed him, and he's still going to this day.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Just like, what?
Yeah.
Well, his first feud, obviously, was with Jerry the King Lawler. It was a good program.
And his first televised match was In Your House, Mind Games, '96. It was September 22nd, 1996, against Jerry Lawler, whom he defeated, of course.
Yeah, well,
I mean, if we're going to give a guy a 10-year contract, you might as well give him some wins.
Who can't beat Jerry Lawler, though?
That's true.
I feel like Ric Flair could probably beat up Jerry Lawler.
You know, you say this, and now it's going to happen. You got to watch what you say.
I want to see it at WrestleMania! It can't be any worse than Vince McMahon getting beat by Bret Hart with a steel chair for 20 minutes.
That's true. Let us know what you think about the Bret Hart Vince McMahon match where you just beat him with a chair for 20 goddamn minutes. Let us know. I want to know.
Swear to God, I've had sex that was better than that. I've slept with Amber. I think I'd get that in there.
Anyways.
Most of '97, though, he'd be out with an injury.
That's right.
I mean, that kind of sucks. I mean, big guys like us, though, we get injured a lot. It happens.
He didn't come back until November of '97.
Well, and then he would do his little bit of a thing, and then he would go to join the Nation of Domination.
Hopefully this doesn't end up as the main clip on our video.
Again?
Uh-huh. This would happen in January of '98. Go on for a little while. And then after the Nation would split, he would go on to feud with The Rock. Birdie?
Birdie.
Birdie.
They call him bang, fuck him dead.
And then he would, after his feud with The Rock, he would go on a tag team with D'Lo Brown and be managed by none other than
Ivory. Now, within the next year or so, you know, the name would get thrown around, and he'd get a cool nickname, and it was that of Sexual Chocolate. There was so much there, I had to rock or quote that.
That's okay. Yeah, Sexual Chocolate. Now, during this time, he was involved in several controversial story angles involving China,
Mae Young,
and even a transvestite. Now,
you mean?
That's right.
Can we air it?
We're gonna.
Check out this clip.
I mean, sweet Jesus.
He's got a penis!
You can't kid it. You can't go wrong with that. That is some funny shit.
After all that would go down, you know, Mark Henry would start a good feud, and it would be with none other than the other big man himself, Big Vis. Mm-hmm. Now, it was great until Viscera body splashed Mae Young after she'd announced that she was pregnant with the baby. Now, I'd like to raise a point while we're on this subject for a second. Her getting body splashed by Viscera is what screwed up the baby. Not her drinking and gambling and smoking with the APA backstage, getting body splashed by by Vis.
And then Mae Young would give birth to Mark Henry's child, a white, mind you, human hand. One of the... I don't even know. Weird isn't even the I don't have a word that I can use to describe this storyline. I just... There you go. And that says it all.
I mean, like, seriously. Was it like Ben Affleck, Matt Damon sitting around smoking pot writing that storyline? Hey man, wouldn't it be really funny if she just like had a hand?
You know what I think was I really think the writers were just getting stoned and just throwing out stupid ideas, and then they picked one of those stupid ideas out of a hat and went with it.
There was like a dartboard.
Yeah.
Chuck. Oh, she's gonna have
human hand. Who put this up there? I did. I didn't think you'd actually get it. I really feel like something like that's what happened. I mean, come on.
Well, Henry's career would continue to go downhill, and it was like embarrassing storyline left after right.
How could you get more embarrassing than the human hand? I mean, they even brought the human hand back.
Yeah, well.
Raw 1000.
How about admitting you're a sex addict?
Well, you're a sex addict.
Also not a big wrestler. I'm still training. I could be a sex addict all I want.
That's true. I feel like sex addiction in the indie scene, that's okay. Keep it in your pants. Keep your shirt on. He has a nipple. Now, in 2000, Mark Henry, even though he had been doing some good stuff, his career kind of started, like he said, started to go a little downhill, and he got sent down to OVW, which was at the time still owned by the WWE.
They wanted him to get some training. They wanted him to get a little bit better on the mic. Because let's face it,
a little more
he was
conditioning.
a great wrestler, but you put a mic in his hands.
Here's this. I'm gonna come out there and I'm gonna beat you up.
Stop beating the mic. It's not a dick.
During his time in OVW, he tag teamed with none other than Nick Dinsmore, who most of you probably know as Eugene.
Oh man, isn't it that guy we got an interview with?
Yes, we definitely did. We got a pretty cool. I honestly, I really liked this
It was
interview.
one of my favorite interviews I think
that we
we've done
got
yet.
with Nick Dinsmore.
I got him off to the side of the PWR event, and we asked him their basic three. And guess what? I got a bonus question.
That's true, which we'll be showing you in a few weeks. After
I think that'll go in the archives. No.
After the whole Attitude Era stuff, we'll get that one out there for you guys to see. But it was a good interview. We hope you like it.
In late 2001, Mark Henry's mother would pass away, and he'd take some time off.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, in the business, when you're on the road that much and something like that happens, you need to take a break once in a while, and that just gave him a good window to do so.
So instead of wrestling, he went on to train to compete in the Arnold Strongman Classic in 2002. He only trained for 4 months for this competition.
For only 4 months?
For only 4 months prior to the competition.
And he would go on to win?
Yeah. It
Wow.
shocked everybody.
That kind of I did not know that.
Because there was people
I
training
read over
for
his
years.
cards a little bit before every show, and I apparently missed that he trained for only 4 months.
And, this is where he got the name Strongest Man in the World.
Okay.
He would go on and, bend frying pans and shit, WWE Magazine, all this stupid
He
stuff.
still does it all the time.
Yeah, I know. But Henry did not return to the WWE television until August of 2003, after the Attitude Era had ended. So, you know what? That's all I got to say about Mark Henry.
That's cool. Brings us up to our final topic for the day. Heat. Originally, Sunday Night Heat.
Sunday Night
Later, it
Heat.
just became WWE Heat. I mean,
And then it just became nothing.
actually, I've kind of got nothing like that there. So that's really funny. It debuted on August 2nd, 1998, and it ran until May 30th, 2008.
And for most of its weeks, it was a live Sunday show.
Yeah, it used to be live. It was really nice. And then it was scheduled before pay-per-views, and it would be like the pre-show setup.
Yeah,
And it
kind
was-
of like what they do now with these whole
Yeah,
online
except
shows.
instead of it just being an online thing, it was legitimately like you'd be watching a pre-show, but you were watching Heat. So you had to pay like an extra like $5 for the pay-per-view, but I mean it was cool. You got to see the wrestlers, and you got to see some people you didn't see on the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Now, its original purpose wasn't just pre-show. It was an extra show that they could do things on. But it was only originally signed to 6 episodes, and after that, it just boomed so well that they were like, well, let's keep going.
Now, in August of 1999, Heat was cut back because of the birth of SmackDown.
Yeah, which, I mean, it happened. There were special editions of it were filmed. One of them was for Super Bowl 33. It was Halftime Heat. And then there was, they began broadcasting on MTV after a while. And they were doing this whole stupid thing with WWF New York, which...
Them going to MTV, in my opinion, probably their downfall right there.
Probably.
We saw wrestling on on MTV before with WSX, and it didn't last because MTV doesn't know how to handle wrestling.
And that's exactly it. Now, WCW had a program with MTV for a couple, people would go on, they'd go on TRL, and the fans would, be able to
the
talk.
whole DDP thing.
That's exactly where I was going to go with this, was, the most notable moment of a wrestler being on TRL was DDP, and he was having a feud with,
Was it Raven?
Ah, see, you remember.
It was.
I didn't bring him up this time.
That's
I
true,
should have
he
been
did.
saying it. Raven would come out and DDP. Wow.
DDP!
He would DDT Page through the table, leave him lay there, drape his United States title over him, and walk away.
Now, WCW was not shy about going on to different shows and stuff. I mean,
No.
I saw them in an episode of Charmed. They did the whole Ready to Rumble movie. I mean,
Yep.
they were all over
They
the
were
place.
constantly on Regis and Kelly, or well, it was still Regis and Kathy Lee at the time.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know who Kathy Lee was, congratulations. However, while a lot of the talent would be in attendance, for most of the stuff going on with Heat and the pre-shows. It wasn't until 2002 that Heat began resuming before Raw and like really taking its spot back. And then the whole WWF New York thing, it was just retired. Because let's face it, when you're at WWF New York and you're walking around and you see like the Big Show having a burger and he's watching Heat on the television, he's like, "Oh, look, that could have been me."
I actually walked by the old WWE Niagara Falls, the Canada one.
Well, the one in New York City.
It was like they had just closed down. The building was still there. It was actually kind of cool.
Apparently, the one in New York City that's on the corner is now a Hard Rock Cafe.
Oh, okay.
I was reading up on it yesterday.
Interesting.
We're planning a road trip, and I wanted to see one of the WWE New Yorks. Apparently, they don't. Well, after it wasn't WWE anymore, the New Yorks anymore. It was just WWE, and they're not there anymore.
No.
But in 2005, Heat would go viral and become a web-based show. And let's face it, you put stuff online like that and you don't promote very well, then what really happens?
I mean, look at Superstars. Look at NXT. I never watch it. First off, I barely know when they're on.
Well,
second off, they don't really coincide very well with the storylines that are going on.
Well, and then just in 2008, it would just go off altogether. There wasn't really any heads up to it. It wasn't really anything big. It was just a screw it. We don't need it.
Yeah, oof, that happens.
But there's a couple of important things that I wanted to address about Heat that I found interesting. Because let's face it, Heat itself was not an important thing. It was a whatever show. Raven got to run it for a little while as he was fucking doing his out-the-door thing with WWE. So, I mean, obviously they didn't give a shit about the thing. But 4 important title matches took place on Sunday Night Heat.
Okay.
You want to cover the first one?
Let's see. January 31st, 1999, WWF title changes hands on Halftime Heat, which happened during Super Bowl 33, like we just mentioned, when Mankind beat The Rock in an empty arena match.
Now, I thought that was pretty interesting. I was like, okay. I was like, that's something I'm going to check out. I didn't.
Maybe someday.
The light heavyweight title, though, however, would change hands 3 times on Heat. The first time was February 13th, 2000, when a debuting S.A. Rios under that gimmick with Lita would defeat Gilbert.
Interesting.
Another time, March 15th, 2001, when Crash Holly would defeat Dean Malenko. And
April 29th, 2001, where debuting Jerry Lynn would go on to defeat the midget, Crash Holly.
Well, I mean, there we go. We just wrapped up another installment of the Attitude Era. I mean, a lot of great stuff happened during the Attitude Era.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's still a lot more that we want to cover. But I mean, just send us some ideas. Let us know what you really want to see. Nobody's really leaving us comments. We need to know what you guys want to see.
I mean, we only have so much things that we can think of that we want to talk to you guys about. But if there's something you want us to talk about, send it our way. We'll be more than happy to have some random topic and talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, if you've got something big breaking in the industry that we don't know about, something you wanted us to talk about on Breaking Kick, let us know.
Absolutely.
Hit us up.
Absolutely.
Because as Josh always says,
if you like what you see, check us out. Like us on Facebook. Because Facebook, that's where it's at, sir.
Bird?
Bird. Because guess what?
Bird.
Have you heard about the word?
I have not.
Bird, bird, bird. The bird is a word. Bird, bird, bird. The bird is a word. Yes. And if you like what you see on Facebook, maybe you should jump on over to Twitter. Check that out.
Click follow.
Click it. Click it. Click it real quick. Click. All those things. Okay, quick.
Click.
Click. And if you like what you see here, check out all our other episodes. Catch up on the Attitude Era. Check out our episode about tag teams.
Should we merge the heavyweight titles?
Stables. We did all kinds of
We did
junk.
one on stables?
Yes. Check out our interview with Goldberg and our one with Matt Hardy. Yeah, so definitely go check that out. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel while you're there. Mm-hmm. Don't just watch it. Please subscribe. And that about wraps things up.
Don't forget to check out our 2 special editions.
Absolutely. And when we'll definitely be posting another one for the Rumble.
This has been another edition of Off the Ropes with John and Josh. I am John.
And I am once again your roast master, Josh.
Dude, you're not roasting anything.
You know what? Maybe if you got me something to roast, I'd roast the shit out of it.
I will get you a goddamn pig and I will put it here on the table.
Okay.
Okay.
We're gonna roast a pig.
And we are down for the count.
That's right. 1, 2.
Shoulder up! Shoulder up! Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
Screw
not...
job. 3. Peace out.
I've been screwed! I've been screwed!